In this video, we are going to learn how to distribute elements in an array into two different arrays. Hello, I'm Jagan from growwithdata. I'm posting this video to share my knowledge in Python language with you. If this assists you in interview preparation anyways, I'll be happy. If you want to access the code used in this data, you know the drill. You go to the YouTube channel, Grow with Data. You have the videos and the playlist. We're talking about the Python interview questions now. So in this video description, you have the code link to GitHub. We click on the link, it will take you to the GitHub page where you have all the code discussed in this video. If you want to join the WhatsApp channel, you can use this link to join the WhatsApp channel with Grow with Data. Okay, now let's see the data and you can talk about the questions in detail. So we are given an array of integers. The length of the array is n. Here it's 4. You need to distribute all the elements of this array into two arrays, array 1 and array 2. Array 1 and array 2. The logic is the first operation append the nums of 0, the first element of the array to array 1, like this. And the second operation, do the second element of the array assigned to array 2. From the third element onwards, okay, so the first and the second is done, so the 3 and 8, for the third element onwards, you check the last element of both the arrays, array 1, array 2, whichever is having the greatest element as a last element, you append the next element to that array. Now if you see, the last element of array 1 is 5, the last element of array 2 is 4. So we check 5 is greater than 4. It's true. So you append the array 1 equal to, now we have 5, you append the next element 3 to it. And now the first array, the array 1, the last element of the array is 3. The last element of the array 2 is 4. So we check if 3 is greater than 4. It's no. So you append to the array 2 equal to, now it's 4 and the new element is 8. Right? If there is one more element like 9, or make it like 2 or 2, okay? So we have one more element. Now the last element of the array 1 is 3, the last element of the array 2 is 8. Now we check 3 is greater than 8. No. So we do the next element append to array 2 equal to 4, 8 is the existing one and 2 is the new one. It's array 2. Okay. So this is what is expected. You go through the array. First two elements are split between array 1 and array 2. From the third element onwards, you see the last element of both the arrays, whichever is having the greatest number, you append the new element to that array. Okay, so this is what is expected. And to finish this exercise, we have to understand how to navigate through the code. If you are new to this video, if you haven't watched my previous ones, then I can explain you how the array works. Okay, now if you have the array 5, 4, 3, 2, right, there is a way to find the length of the array. So length of the array is the number of elements in the array. So we have 4 elements, so the length is going to be 4. But there is something called the index. So what is index? So the array starts with the index 0 and next is 1, 2 and 3. So this is the index from left to right. This is how we read. So instead of nums, if we say nums of, check the bracket, is the hard bracket, not the curly one. So say nums of 0, this specifies the index position. So the 0th index is pointing to the element 5. The second index points to the element 3. If I say the index is 2, it points to the element 3. If we say 3, then points to 8. Okay, So that is what the index is. Sorry, nums of 3 is 8. Okay, this is one of the good things. If I give you any index position outside this array, then you get a index out of range error because the maximum index is 3, right? So 0, 1, 2, and 3. If I give something outside 3, then you get out of index error. Okay, so that is one. And there is one more way of doing the index. So index, when you go with left to right, it's 0, 1, 2, 3. When you go with right to left, the last index is -1, and then -2, -3, -4. So from the left to right, it's 0, 1, 2, 3. But to right to left, it's -1 to -4. So instead of saying 0, if I say -1, I get the last index. To get the third index from right? So it is -3. Third index is -3. So it get the element 4. Okay, so this is the difference between the index from left to right and right to left. The left starts with 0, right starts with -1. If you want to know both the index and the element, how will I do it? There are different ways. First one is I can use enumerate. So index val in enumerate nums. Okay. So enumerate will bring in the index position and the value part of it. If you want to see it, index is index, value is the val. Okay. So if you see, the index will store the index value 0, 1, 2, 3, and the val will store the value part of the element 5, 4, 3, and 8. Okay. This is one way of doing it. If I want to get only the value, then what I do? So instead of saying enumerate for val in nums, print value equal to val. So here we don't consider the index. We just get only the elements. We read the array one by one and we get that val. Okay. Now, if I want to have only the index and if I want to get the value, we can use the range function. For I in range, if you give a number like 4, print I. Okay. So the range basically starts with 0 and ends with a number before that. Okay. That is my previous video. I explained in detail how the range works. You can go to the previous video and watch. Okay. We are going to use this 0, 1, 2, and 3. Right. So instead of 4, I simply say length of the array. So the length of array is 4. So it gets from 0 to 3. So I have the index. So how will I get the value? Value is, I simply say nums of the I. So it takes 0, 1, 2, 3 as an index, and the corresponding array of the index position will give you the value. So this is how you play around with the index part of it. And if I have two indexes, how will I add those indexes? For example, you say array 1 equal to 5, 3. Okay. And array 2 equal to 4, 8. So that is the output we are going to get with this array. So how will I add this two? Simply I can say array 1 plus array 2. So it will add array 1 first and then append the next array after that. So 5, 3, 4, 8. So this is the array part of it. Now, how will I use all this and create a program to implement the logic? So the condition is first two elements you assign to array 1 and 2, and then from the second element in the index 0 and 1 will be assigned to array 1 and 2. From index 2 to all the next arrays, we have this logic. Whichever is having the greatest element, we append to that array. Okay, this is what you're going to try. And one more thing about the array, if you have the nums, right? If I say nums of 0, so what is the output? It gets the element, right? So the element type is the integer here. So if you say type of the element, it's a integer. If I say nums equal to a, oh, a, b, c, and d. Okay, so this is the case. If we say type of nums, it's going to be string because it's going to show a. Okay, it's not a array type. But if I want to append, I need to have a array type. So what will I do? Simply I put that in a bracket. So it will give me the string into a array. If I say check the type of it, it's going to show us a list. Okay, list array. Now, if I assign this to a variable a equal to nums of 0, they'll get the first element and append to it. If I say a dot append z, then it will append the element to the end of the array. If I want to do it at the initial part of it, we can use the positions which we discussed in the previous video. You can watch that in the previous videos. Let's go into our coding part of it. So now we have the nums array. How will I split it? You say the function grow with data nums. The rule is the first array is going to have the 0th index element. The second array is going to have the first index element. So make sure it's being assigned to a list, not a number. Okay, so we have a nums of 1 and then we made it as a list. Now we say for we need to get the elements, right? So we have multiple ways to go through the array and get the element. Now we can use this formula. Simply get the element from the array. For val in nums, the 0th and first position has been taken care, right? We have to start with the second position. So we say nums of 2 to the end. Now we have to check if array 1 of the last element, we say -1, right, is greater than array 2's last element. If that is the case, then you append array 1 dot append the value to that array. Else array 2 dot append the value. Now return array 1 plus array 2. So we split both the arrays and then finally we return the array. List no append append append. So got 5, 3, 4, 8 and 2. So that's what we did here, right? 5, 3, 4, 8. And if we have the last element, we just did where we did 5, 3, 4, 8, 2. Okay. So 5, 3, 4, 8 and then 4, 8, 2. So 5, 3 is the first one, 4, 8, 2 is the second one. So that's what we are getting here. If you want to test more test cases, then we can use the assert function and check. 5, 3, 4, 8. Grow with data. That's a mistake. The name is different. Okay. We have different function name. That's why I threw there. So we have different test cases and both passed. So what we did here, we first get the input array. The first element goes to array 1. The second element goes to array 2. From the third element onwards, we check what is the last element and which one is greater, array 1's element or array 2's element. Based on that, we append. Once you get array 1 and array 2, we just add both the arrays and we return that value, right? This is the normal part. If you want to use the range function, right, the same thing, but range is going to be a extra pain for us. So instead of saying nums of this, we just say range starting with 2 till length of the nums, right? Same thing, it will loop in array 1. Instead of saying val, it's going to be the index position, right? So the val will be nums of the index position. So we get the same result. So instead of the actual value, if you want to get the index part of it, then we use the range. So range 2 to the length of array, we get the element from that array based on the index value. This is the additional workload if you use the range function. So this method will be much easier because we directly read the value from the array and we check the condition and we are appending to it. So I prefer this function, but based on your mood, when you go for the interview, if you think this is what comes in your mind, then you can easily do it. Only thing is you have to know how to read the element from the array based on the index position. It's a simple question. You can just do it, just practice once and you know how to do it. Thanks for watching.